at this point, there are certain practices or just certain habits we need to consider when being on these applications, because we know what these applications are here for. If you choose to blend in with the crowd, that's fine. But don't be surprised when this herd of sheep gets let off of a cliff. Yo, right here in the small box. With this topic specifically, when we're talking about Twitter or X, when I heard people's locations were getting exposed, I'm going to be super honest with you guys. I didn't care for it because this already happened. This ain't the first time this happened on Twitter. You know, oh, we're with X now, and it's like, it's a different situation, or it's happening at like a mass kind of like, it's like everybody, like, you know, like all the masses, everybody's account exposed. I'm sitting here, I'm just like, this already happened a couple times over, if I'm going to be completely honest. Through my eyes, I'm like, if it already happened, why is it serious? And then I'm seeing the conversation talking about, oh, a lot of kbots are being exposed for not being in North America, or a lot of Drake fans are being exposed for not being from North America, same way, right? But it goes a little bit deeper than that. If we're going to be real, you got to consider this fact. And I feel like that's going to be the theme for this video. And that fact is data collection. Yeah. You got to think about it like this, though. I feel like, and this is through my eyes specifically, because when you have a background like mine where we focus on numbers, where we focus on values, we look at things a lot differently. If you're going to come in here with your heart on your sleeve, I'm right there with you. But if you understand where I'm coming from, when you have an advertising background, when you have a marketing background, when you have a communications background, when you have a data analysis background, not saying it's super heavy in data analysis, but I'm familiar with it because we did touch on that and we did dive into that throughout my program. It's the same way when you have the telemarketers call your phone to see what they can get out of you. That's the same exact way I see it on Twitter. If I'm going to be super honest, that's the way I see it. If you disagree with me, the comments are right there. You know what I'm saying? The comments are right there. But the way I'm walking into this situation, I'm looking at it from a different perspective. I'm still going to meet up with everybody else on the point of, oh, look what they're doing with the culture. But the path I'm taking is a little bit different from everybody else. And we're going to have this wonderful gentleman, Mr. HHSB Crew, shout out, kind of lead the conversation. Remember, we're a reaction channel. Don't forget that part. We do reactions. Okay? So, listen, y'all know I can talk for days. Let's go ahead and get started. Listen, y'all do know how to start this, right? So let's go ahead and make it happen. Let's go. Yo, you, right here. In the small box, right here in the small box. Hey, welcome back to the Flex Your Mind Network. I'm Flex. Y'all tapped in with the Flex Mob. Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to go ahead and dive right in with this, all right? So I might as well get started. So make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the reaction. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when I drop my videos or when I'm live, like right now at this late night. Let's go. Yes, make sure y'all hit that like button.
Hey, yeah. What's poppin', gang? Alright, man, we back. It's Monday. And this topic today is kind of alarming, man. It's kind of alarming, and it's something that I feel like it'd be good to hear from other people that we don't necessarily look to for opinions, or that we don't just get opinions from often, even like myself, right? So like I kind of want to see, you know, what some of the fans that have been following this beef for as long as they've been following the beef. And I feel like it's even bigger than that at this point. Like I almost feel like the beef is so far removed. Now we're just starting to see the party.
I want everybody, if you choose to watch this video, I want you guys to consider the arguments specifically, because there's a theme going out through the arguments. Yes, we already know what the overall theme is when it comes down to hip hop, when it comes to Drake versus Kendrick. But you also got to pay attention to the arguments, because you got to consider the division and how easy it is to divide people on Twitter while we're watching this. So let's go.
Dying and character flaws being revealed. Before we get into the video, man, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, man. We super close to 50K. So
How do y'all do it, bro? I'm trying to get the 5. Damn. I'm just trying to be great out here, bro. It's hard, bro. It ain't easy on YouTube. Okay, let me just keep going. Let me relax.
I definitely can't do it without each and every one of you. But I woke up to Twitter today. Actually, I have not seen anything about this. I made a post this morning in reference to Wale's album, because bro, respectfully, he reposted the work that we did on the album. If you haven't seen that, check that out. And I came across something that I felt was really interesting. It's a little sad. Well, it's not a little sad. It's very sad, but it's definitely interesting to see the lengths that people will go. One, I feel like, to cause disruption, because I think that's what's really happening. Is there's a
I like that point, and congratulations on hitting 200 subscribers. Great job, my guy. On the way to 5. Get the 500, and then 5, 1K, then 2K, then 2. You understand? Like, let's go.
A lot of disruption. There's a lot of raise baiting. And I think the issue is not where it's coming from, but why? But why? So we're gonna get into a couple of different. Creators here, or I guess I say a lot of these are voices in hip hop. But a lot of these are pages that we have seen and that we look to. There's gonna be a lot of revelations here. So apparently, I guess I'm not, like I said, I'm not avidly on Twitter like that, but apparently an update went through, or you're now able to see where people are from when they when they're making their posts, or if they've changed their names on Twitter. So basically there's history. No matter what they say, it gives you a location of where they're from in Twitter now. So the basic issue is the discourse around the Kendrick Lamar fans and Drake fans. And I've even seen Not Like Us being thrown around as this xenophobic song, as if it's...
See, there are certain details and there are certain facts throughout the arguments that clearly states that this is BS. If you're considering Not Like Us to be xenophobic, if you're considering Not Like Us to be anything that is damaging to another group of individuals, I want you guys to stand up and exit to the left, because your point holds no value. I am sorry, but not sorry, because the way people think on X, it's actually frightening to see the consumer base be this backwards, if I'm going to be super real. And me personally, I'm going to stand on this hill. You know what? I'm not even going to say it. Never mind. Because I feel like I'm going to start a whole other argument in the comments. Listen, let's just keep going.
Not Like Us is in, there's an issue with outsiders. And it was never about, it was, in my opinion, personally, you can let me know how you feel about it in the comments. It was never about that. Not Like Us was more of a cultural hip.
It's a metaphor. Not like us. Yes, definitely relates back to culture without a doubt. But looking at it from a wide angle, it's a metaphor. Anybody can say not like us. The same way how you have people in Japan and they have their own culture, they move their own way, they have their own customs, that gives them the privilege to say not like us. You are not like us because you don't move like us. It comes down to culture and how people walk in their own day-to-day lives. The same way how we move around in Canada, it's going to be different in America. It's going to be different in Europe. It's going to be different in Australia. It's going to be different in South America. It's going to be different, so different in Africa. Understand, that gives them the privilege to stand on their square and say how you across the seas over there are not like us. Plain and simple. If you are going outside the borders of that, trying to attempt to find something to say, oh, this is so damaging to us, please exit to the left. Because whatever you talk about holds no weight here. That's it. That's all it ever was.
Pop, it's just not like that, man. So we're gonna take a look at a couple of posts. So and this is one post that I kind of agree with, because I'm seeing a little bit of this, notion that because you are not an American, basically you can't speak on certain things.
Yeah.
I don't wholeheartedly agree with that. I believe you can absolutely share your opinion. I believe you can absolutely...
Opinions are made to be shared. That's why we have social media spaces. That's why we have comment sections. But you need to also understand that it is an opinion. If you're trying to give said opinion legs and weight to it, that's where the opinions can get dangerous, because at the end of the day, it's an opinion. Right?
Express your sentiments, your feelings on a subject, on a topic, but I don't think you can get in there, weasel in, slither around, and then try to spin and create narratives without more than a basic understanding and context. I think
King, tell those people in the back the same thing.
I think Deleted said it the best in one of his videos from a while ago. I don't remember which video it was, but it was like, you know, if I go to my friend's house and his mother is preparing spaghetti, I believe this is what he said, and you know, they're Italian family and they're preparing spaghetti or something like that. I don't have the right to then go in there and critique the spaghetti and the meatballs. I could not like it, but I can't tell you this is how you should have prepared it better. I just can't. I can't go in there. That's your thing. Mm-hmm. Feel me? So Dog Ninja says, not gonna lie, this is when things get a little xenophobic, respectfully. The problem isn't people from around the world giving their rap takes. It's not. The problem should be when people from from accounts overseas try and dictate what rap music should look like, should sound like, and our vocal hip hop culture without any ties to Black American culture. So again, it's not that you can't enjoy it. It's not that you can't speak on it. It's not that you can't have an opinion. It's the dictating and rage baiting. And I think that's another thing that we have to talk about is whenever you monetize something, you will have people doing their damnness to be paid. So if you get, I don't even know how Twitter monetization works, but you know, if it's the amount of views, if it's the amount of impressions or whatever, you're gonna say something to try to get as many people looking at your page as possible. And a lot of times that's when you're starting a fire and creating a unhealthy discourse, or you're saying something completely outrageous. So then he goes to say, I follow this account and they are genuinely a fan of hip hop music and really only discuss music they personally like. And I think he highlights that the fact that he's from Jordan. So if you're unfamiliar, this is what it looks like at this point, right? So it tells you where you joined. It tells you where the account is based in. Now, let's move on. Jalopy said another thing, right? Nothing wrong with appreciating music no matter where you're from, and I 1000% agree. But it was niggas from Serbia arguing with me about Black American culture as if it don't matter.
Like I said, when I walk into this, pay attention to the argument. When there's a point being made, I don't need to contribute to that because I'm going to agree. When it comes back to culture, when it comes back to melanin, when it comes back to black people, I'm right there with y'all. The path that I'm walking down, like I said at the beginning of this, I'm walking outside the regular path. I want to dive into the argument. So, I want to use this one first as an example of diving into the argument. It was ninjas from Serbia arguing with me about Black American culture as if it don't matter. This is where it starts to get interesting. Because you have to look at the argument, like I said. Not the back and forth, but you got to see how easy it is to simply get under somebody's skin. I don't think a lot of people realize that, but that's a way to also collect information. Because if you use, say for example, if you use programs or applications that collect data such as ComScore. Now the ComScore is based on demographics and how to narrow in on certain demographics. It's a marketing tool or it's an advertising tool that we use in school. Do they still use it today? I'm not sure because I never got a marketing job. It still pissed me off to this day. Anyway, my point is, so when you look at programs like ComScore, where you can look at demographics and then you can start to target demographics, this is another tool. Like this is another subsection that could be used to find certain demographics and values of who you are trying to market to. You have to consider that because that's where I get into the whole experimentation kind of side to this. Because you got to understand, a lot of people don't realize what's going on here on this side of the world, how we're moving and everything like that. You got to understand on the other side of the world, they're learning from us. That goes into the conversation of, oh, y'all want to imitate black culture. Y'all want to imitate black people. But when it comes down to things going awry or things going up in smoke, y'all immediately run back to what your factory reset was. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? A lot of people don't realize when you look at other countries, well, to be honest, on the other side of the planet, when you look at continents like Europe, when you look at continents like Asia, you look at continents like Australia, when you look at continents like Africa, they're applying a lot of the things that we lead with here. The same way how we have our own little slang, that's used over there too. They are learning. If you were to ever see how they argue over there nowadays, you'll be looking at them like, yo, you sound like my dog down the street. Like, how did you see where I'm going with this? They're trying to apply certain aspects of us to their life to kind of move around and be better. So at this point, this is where I could start talking about K-pop at the same time too, if we want to go that deep into it. You know? What's up, Anthony? How you feeling? So you're saying black people have a word on black culture. I need a moment to process this. Insert SpongeBob thinking me. Jazz music stops. Don't kill me. Just got out of Jalopy's live. Yeah, there's level. Trust me, believe me. There's levels to this. Let's keep going though, because we need to get more info.
That's the issue. It's not that you love hip hop and rap from Serbia. Is you then try to tell me about something that I know about, like
because they're trying to use what they learned against you on some place that is called the wilderness or Twitter.
I could never tell a doctor how he should have performed a procedure if I've never performed a procedure, if I've never done it before. Sometimes you got to break it down in like different terms for people to really understand that. If you're not from here, you don't understand the nuances, you have blind spots. And a prime example, even on a smaller level, is I think people's outside.
Yo, Ron, you are damn right. But the way I say it is that it's a battle of attrition on a mental level. Mental level. I almost had it. It's a battle of attrition on a mental level. Notice how our voices here have been slowly losing power over the years. But if you were to look over there, the power is growing. Like it's just like take, apply, take, apply, take, apply. But when we try, it doesn't work the same. Y'all see the play.
Out of the US depiction of Americans in general.
Say that again.
Example, even on a smaller level, is I think people's outside of the US depiction of Americans in general. Like I've seen videos, and of course that's my narrow scope, I'll admit. But I've seen videos where it's like everybody's fat, everybody owns a pew, we're dumb, you know what I'm saying? And to a certain extent, some of that might be true, but the overall view of what it's, and even on the more positive side, like if you're leaving your really terrible situation from whatever country you're in, and you come here and believe that you are now going to be blessed, the streets are paved with gold, that's not what it's like. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like you don't understand the nuances, and you definitely have blind spots. I agree with the homie Jalopy here. Now, let's take a look at this, because this is something that's very interesting, okay? These are Drake's biggest fan pages that have been spamming my page for 2 years now.
Okay. I want to stop there. I want to read what Ron just said. Let's make these ninjas, because I ain't saying all that, fight about rap. So much so, we get them to infight. It starts with hip-hop. Then it grows to that convo. Here's the magical part about that, because the same way how it's being exposed in hip-hop, it's also being exposed in the relationship sector or the whole dating side to social media when people have the conversations about dating. You don't even need, Ron, me personally, you don't even need to take it that far. That's the funny part. It can definitely get there. That is definitely a final destination. But where I see it is that all you need is to attack the music and attack the dating sector of social media, and all of Black Twitter is going to implode on itself. That's all it takes. When you attack the two greatest things that keeps the culture whole, and you ruin said things, the example that we have outside, or the example that we see on TikTok, the example that we see on Instagram, that's the result of this. That's the overall point to it. The infighting is the exact reason why we ain't got no power. Because if it's so easy to turn on ourselves instead of turn to thy enemy, we got a problem. There's levels to the problem, but when you look at it at its base form of what the outcome is, you don't need to really break it down too much. But just look at the base form of it. You can already see that we have a problem. And then when you start to analyze the problem, then you see you have another problem, and then another problem, then another problem. You see how we've been put back a couple generations even though we're still advancing? It's like we're moving forward this way, but on this other track, we're moving way back. So even though we're up here, we still back here at the end of the day. I'm seeing it completely different from how everybody else is seeing it. If you are following me and you understand, then you get it. If not, you might gotta walk with me a little bit. What's good, neighbor? How you feeling? What's good, Josh? What's good? What's good? What's good? How's everyone feeling? Welcome back to the flexmob network.
Calling me racial slurs, Indian, African, white, a bot, etc. Seems like they've been projecting this whole time, and OVO's got a bot farm of pages to spam people for $7 an hour. And honestly, I don't care where people are from, but when y'all been attacking people for 2 years, saying Harriet Tubman music, slave music, and using racial slurs, yeah.
You see this right here? You see why I'm paying attention to the argument? When I first heard about this right here, Harriet Tubman music, I understand where you're trying to go with this. When you talk about slave music, I understand where you're trying to go. And believe me, initially, because the one thing that is the biggest problem with Twitter is that you have a whole social media application designed to promote people that have wow, words are hard. You have a social media application designed to promote and push people that tweet or post an initial reaction for likes, reposts, follows. There's a reason why this is a wasteland. Even though you got to remember one of the points that I make. Even though, regardless of what you say that is good or bad, if it goes viral, you're going to get engagement. Yeah, are you going to get a lot of people hate you? Of course. I'd hate you. But guess what? There's people out there at the same time on the Wilderness app called Twitter that are going to follow you for telling people, oh, they really do listen to Harriet Tubman music. They really listen to slave music, using racial slurs, out here using the N-word. But you're not even close to being black. Do you see where I'm going with this? What's good, Cousin B? How you feeling? You see where I'm going with this? It's the argument itself that's playing you. If it's so easy for you to react to somebody speaking on BS, don't you think that's the root of the problem? Don't you think, oh, what the, are you, hey, let me, and then you start typing out, let me tell you something. Don't you dare sit there and try to tell me how I'm supposed to be. Who gave you the, like, do you see where I'm going with this? Twitter is a plague. There's a reason why I'm not on it. And now, I do understand I cannot run from social media. There's eventually going to be moments where I'm going to get into a good old-fashioned scuffle on some social media apps where there's going to be an exchange. I don't know about you, but me personally, when I try to roast somebody through a phone, when I try to roast somebody through a laptop or just any digital or any kind of device, I don't say, "Oh, your mama's so." We don't do that. The way I go about it is that I'm gonna let you know what you are and why you're like that. Oh, look at this ninja, always out here talking some real ish. Yeah, that's right. That's why you a bitch. Oh, you might seem that's weak. Oh no, that's entry level. Then we start to get fun with it. Oh, you think that's funny? Yo, weak ass response. Get that out of here. Yeah, that's why your daddy beat you when you were young. Oh no, it's gonna get worse. That's why the left side of your brain is just shut down. Try me in the comments. I'm not gonna attack you to make other people laugh. I'm gonna attack your spirit. You understand me? I can get real creative. Those are just throwaway examples. I've sat there and let people know how they look and how they are to the point where they had to stop arguing with me because I couldn't stop. I kept letting them know, oh, you see, I understand the way you're acting, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense since that's the reason why your daddy keeps beating you. I'm not here to make people laugh. I'm here to attack your spirit. Try me, and I'm going to let you shed tears while you try to make fun of me back. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm not going to make anybody laugh in the comments. It's going to get to a point, it's like, oh, God, you got to stop. I'm here to attack your spirit. Forget laughing. You want to go after me? Let's go. Let's go. Let me stop, bro. Out here giving out tactics.
Yeah. And you can just see where all of these accounts are from. Again.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
It does not matter where you are from, enjoying the music and sharing your opinion on music and the topics. That's not what it's about. It's when you then start saying crazy stuff, calling people racial slurs, and like I said, rage baiting and speaking on a topic as if you understand it as well. Now you can 100% do your homework.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you can't do your homework.
Of course.
Right? But there's something to be said about someone who lives something.
What's good, Fanchi or Vanchi?
Reading it and trying to figure it out. So again, man, like I said, I don't have no issue with where nobody is from. That's not even the point. But you can see Zimbabwe, South Africa, West Asia, Israel, the United Kingdom, Europe, United Arab Emirates, North America, France, and Australia, which is Akademiks TV being out of Australia is crazy.
No, that's not crazy. That's the cherry on top. Because you got to consider who else is out there in Australia that has a massive company that pays out millions to people that are willing to promote said application that have a high following on these apps. Oh, here, I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with take. Australia, right? Okay.
I think we knew something about this. I don't know if this is as
And I love Australia, by the way. Let's not do that. Okay, I love Australia. I'm just gonna get that out the way.
This is as like shocking information, but from the type of language that he uses is definitely alarming that a lot of people are even okay with that, right?
Oh, here we go.
So Screwface says the people who are cosplaying Americans to cause infighting or pretending to be a whole different race.
Did I say reminds or rhymes? Hey, it rhymes with steak. If I said reminds, that's my bad. You got to understand, I just came from work. Oh, okay.
Deserve all the slander. That's the point. It's like, it's basically, it's hiding your IPs. It's basically putting on a mask. King Hammer,
keep going.
To cover who you are, to then get all your shit out. Pause. To then go and say all of those really terrible things that may be accepted if you look a certain way, but if you really said how you felt and people didn't think that mask was you, then what?
See, this is why we have video games. Because if you're going to live your life on an application where you know it is known for being the wilderness, the wild, wild west, a volcano, then why you know you can pick up a game controller. It's easy. Just pick up a game controller. Why you want to give hours of your time of an application trying to respond and reply to just random people on the internet, knowing that it is so easy to get a VPN or just make a fake account? There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong. Anybody out there that's trying to shame you for this is weak, because there's nothing wrong with this. Of course, play in moderation, but you understand. Why would I want to be on this application when I can just use this? I can just use, it's not, use your common sense, bruh. Turn the other cheek. Damn.
But I will say, some of y'all are just using this as a chance to get, that's what I've been seeing. I don't disagree. I think there are definitely a certain side of people that I've been seeing, as in just doing some of this research, that are clearly missing the point and missing the message. And I'm going out on record and we're saying that, right? Some of y'all are missing the message. It's not about where people are from. That's not what it's about. It's about being from a place and then arguing points and spewing propaganda about something you have no idea about.
It's part of the message, bro. Where you going, you're definitely on the right track, but to find that part of the message, that truth behind all of this, you got to get dark. And I'm not talking about you. You are great as you are. I'm talking about dark as under the bed, like these other people on the internet. Why are they doing this? Why? Why are they doing this? Because if you get them fighting, they can never come together and lead because they're fighting against each other. And if they continue to fight against each other on this little application where we can all say something, then it's going to take them way longer to group together and make a change. Now we're getting to an interesting part of the conversation where it's like, okay, so if you don't want us to make a change, why are you so scared? I mean, history shows. Why are you afraid of seeing them work together? I'm going to let y'all. That's why we have comment sections. Y'all go ahead and do what you got to do in the comments, you know?
No, it's like people who talk about Chicago, like, and my city is definitely. Maybe that's a bad example. I mean, maybe that's a bad example, but people do talk about Chicago in a way as if everywhere you go is like that. And it's not. It's not like that at all. It is like that in certain places, but it's not like that. But being from another place, you don't know that. The same with every other city, you know, or every other state that has, you know, shit that happens in the city. I heard Oakland was one of the most dangerous places in the world. There's places in Texas. Memphis, I'm hearing is a bad spot. Detroit, St. Louis. There's just, but again, to the people that live there, it's like it's not what you see, bro. It's you have to be from here to really understand. And I agree with that. Being in a different country doesn't automatically invalidate your opinion. One more time. On things outside of your country. And if that makes you a culture vulture, then we all are culture vultures.
I want you to please hear me when I say I have not said nothing about the people that are speaking about him. I'm not talking about where they're from specifically, because you never know who actually loves this ish and who actually does it. Who's really doing it because they care, or who's really doing it because they're disrupting. I'm just paying attention to the arguments. I'm paying attention to the arguments because the answer is within the negativity. You're going to have different ways to improve from the positivity, but the negativity can give you the answers to change. That's what I'm focusing on.
And I agree. We grew up watching anime. Facts. I did too.
What's good, J-Talk?
Nah, he ain't up there. You might see Frieza up there too. Anime TV shows are playing games made by people in Asia and other places. Some of your wardrobes have been made by white Europeans, and we brag about it. Our cars be made by Asians or Europeans, and we call them foreigns. And we spend a lot of time eating foods from different. I rarely ever say I have something like an American diet, bro. I eat food from everywhere, bro. Like this, it's not that. They did nothing wrong. It's the bad faith actors who clearly were grifting and rage baiting, as I've been saying, that we should focus on. And I agree. Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comments, man. But I definitely agree with that. I don't think that it's everybody, but there are some people out here who are really just trying to get their shit off, and they coming off looking like weirdos for making it seem like just because you're from somewhere else, you don't have a say. And this in particular, is why it's looked at the way that it is. Bro called him. He said, "Nah, man, this ninja ugly as F." But as you can see, he said it right here. All right. He's from Israel.
Oh, got his ass. You gotta understand, if you're gonna be on applications like this, you cannot take the words to heart. That's one solution that I have found from the problem, if I'm going to be real. You gotta understand, when you're on applications like that, you must be ready for that. Because they're trying to use you to get famous by disrespecting you. So if they do that to build their numbers, to build their following to the point where they have thousands upon thousands of people following them because of all the garbage they've been spewing on the internet, then guess what? That gives them power. That gives them the right to say something simply because of how many people following them. Simply because they got a blue check. You see where I'm going with this? Because now take that info, take what you just learned from what I just said, and then apply it to the argument. Then you're going to start having power over people that are simply there to just make a change. And now if you get them aggravated, if you get them angry to the point where they fight back, now, since they are angry, since they're filled with negativity, that gets pushed off to other people within the culture that might have just said something wrong. Now you have unnecessary infighting based on where you got your negativity from. Where is the origin of this? I'm telling you, I'm not looking at this at how everybody else is looking at it. There are levels to this. You have to pay attention to the argument. That's where you're going to find the answer. Now, Twitter did this update. We see where they from. And I'm not attacking where they're from, like certain individuals, like academics, but you got to sit here and realize there's a play to divide. There is a play to divide the culture. Because if you divide the culture, at that point, you're going to start losing the battle of attrition. And then if you lose that battle and whoever wins takes over, then does the culture still have power? Imagine digital sources, applications can lead to the demise of the culture. Look how divided everybody is right now. When you look at hip hop, when you look at dating, everybody's divided. A lot of the sources, because ain't nobody talked about this yet, a lot of the sources in dating are not even from here. But you're trying to speak on the way we go through relationships as if you're trying to remold everything into your likeness. And then you're going to push hate to push us out so that you can come in with a whole bunch of garbage. You got to learn how to just let it go. Because when you're on these apps, it's really not that serious. Now, at the same time, you must learn how to conduct yourself on said applications. Because you can't just go around saying what you want, doing what you want. That's not how that works. Because you're going to go viral for the wrong reasons. You just got to be aware of where you are. You must read the room. This room is filled with nonsense. You must read the room and be prepared to navigate it. This is the opportunity for them to do what they always done. Take out a messiah and blame it on some radical from another country or religion. Same playbook, same tactics that they've been using forever. I mean, you said it.
But hides behind,
But
you know what I'm saying? But hides behind a completely different, you know what I'm saying? Hides behind something else to make it seem like he's not. what he is. And that is the issue. Now, if you just said it with your chest, it'd be way different. You said it with your chest, that's who you are, right? Like, then we understand. Crazy,
All right,
man.
Good.
Now,
What's good, Quickie? I see you must be shadow mobbing, or you just got here. Act not even from America as well to be speaking that type of ignorance. Well, be careful, because you know how academics gonna get, especially if you talk about Jamaica. You know how Jamaicans gonna get if you talk about Jamaica. You must tread those waters lightly, but I agree with you. Don't get it twisted. I agree with you. But you better be careful how you speak about Caribbeans. Boy, you might start a digital war. Act standing on ish while sitting on ish. These people are walking contradictions. Shake my head. He's sensitive for real, absolutely, and that is a fact. Well, what more can I say? You know, what more can I really say? I think I left it all out there at that point, bro. Damn, I've been speaking, bro. It's over an hour. But you know what? I did say if I was going to dive into this topic, I was going to speak for more than an hour. So it looks like I achieved that tonight. Exactly, King Ham. Oh, I am saying. Exactly. What more can I say though? Saucy, I summoned Saucy Santana. What is this, Yu-Gi-Oh? That's crazy. I don't think there's much I really need to summarize, because I was kind of summarizing as I go to kind of help y'all understand what I'm talking about, because I was walking down a different path. It's just at the point now where I'm like, what more can I really say? You know? At this point, there are certain practices or just certain habits we need to consider when being on these applications, because we know what these applications are here for. If you choose to blend in with the crowd, that's fine. But don't be surprised when this herd of sheep gets let off of a cliff. You know? That's it. That's all it is, bruh. Ain't nothing else I really need to say, bro. Y'all already know. Salute to the flex mob. Salute to the shadow mob. I appreciate y'all equally. Y'all know the vibe already. Take care. Whoa, well, I don't even need to end it like that. Y'all already know the vibe, bro. Come on. And what more could I say? It's just, it was a great topic. Shout out to HHSB crew. We appreciate the content. We appreciate your channel. We appreciate your energy, your essence, all of the above, bro. Come on, you're one of the greats out here. We look up to you, brother. Okay. So of course, salute, bro. You already know.